magazine Constanza. A question for the director. The footage we see at the residence with the incidents is dated March 23rd, 2023. Does this date has any specific meaning? And also, I guess the question on everybody's mind, why the title, Queen at Sea?
Did you say the date of the footage?
Yes, 23rd of March.
I'm not sure how you...
It's right there, right. It's on the footage, 23:03:23, and then it was 15-something hour. So it's a lot of
like
three.
Some dailies that you're looking at or something?
Excuse me?
The CCTV.
Oh, I see.
The footage, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that was completely random, but that's Bruno Gans's birthday.
So maybe not.
So it wasn't completely random. I think you should claim that.
I really admire him, and especially in Wings of Desire.
And then
seminal
the title.
film for me, so I unconsciously maybe, I don't know.
Okay, and then the title, Queen at Sea.
Queen at Sea.
Thank you.
Boy, I'm not avoiding an answer here, but I don't know. I can say some things maybe. It remains unclear to me why, but at sea in the English language, and particularly in the British version of the English language, the English version of the English language, that means being in peril, or maybe when you say somebody's at sea, they're lost, or maybe cognitively at peril or lost. And I thought of the Queen. I had an image. I'm remembering it now. I had an image in my kitchen of a queen being on a galleon going to war. And when a queen is on the galleon at war, and there have been famous queens, I don't know who they are, that have done that, your country's in trouble. You could lose your queen. So I don't know, and I just stuck with it. Probably should have taken some other title.
It's very stubborn now. That's an idea.
Manuel Oberhollenzer, Uncut Movies Austria. Thank you very much for this extraordinary cinematic experience. I'm still processing it. I have a question for Mr. Hammer, and then one for the Miss Calder-Marshall, and one for Sir Tom Courtenay. My question for the director is, could you tell us a little bit about your research on this topic? Because I found it well researched, what you put on screen. And for the two of you, I would like to ask you, kindly ask you, how you approached and prepared for your very complex performances. Thank you very much.
So, me first? Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first.
One of the cleverest things I've ever done in my career was to find Annie for this film, Under a Stone. No. And there had been some inquiries to various actresses, and no one had taken the bait. And Juliette was very keen that we would have an English actress who could speak French, and she relied on me with my superior knowledge of English actresses. And then I looked at the casting directors list, and there was Annie. And I knew this was the answer. And I was prepared to say to Juliette, it doesn't matter if she speaks Chinese. This is it. And I've never been as clear about anything in my life. And anyway, she didn't have to speak Chinese, but it would have made no difference if she had.
I don't. I went to a lot of care homes and studied people with dementia. I'm at an age, I'm afraid, where I haven't had a facelift, so I am thought of often as a demented old lady, but not as extraordinary as this. So I have been to quite a few other care homes, but to do other parts. But this really, really excited me, and the trust that was put on me by Lance and Tom. But it is extraordinary to fully focus on people with dementia and go right inside them. It is fascinating, and I want you to dare to go as deeply as possible, because I think it's something that must be shared and considered. And I think I did love him still very much, and who knows if I'm a bit adult and want sex, but I think it came from a deep love between them. And also my husband's got dementia, so I've had a lot of background to look at.
And so, on the question of the research, yeah, it was exhaustively researched, and in the typical way of just, well, so the story idea came to me because I was hearing multiple stories all at once, and it felt like, what's the universe telling me? Like, I have to pay attention to this. And then, so it was news articles, it was personal friends, parents, many things. And so I have some personal experience, not with my parents, but where I felt somebody very dear to me. So I had an emotional connection to it. I understood the emotionality of the grieving and the length of the process and the suffering on the families. But this was not the experience of my friend. And so the story emerged out of, it was a composite of many different stories I was hearing. That's how the actual dramaturgy evolved from, what it evolved from. The scenarios. But one important question, or one important point, is the researching that we did with real professionals. And there was the SOET, the SARC doctor, the social worker. These were all people that, with Gabrielle de Sevens, who's with the Bureau over there. Gabrielle's over here. So Gabrielle was my collaborator in this. Once the script was written, it had to be rewritten because we needed to bring professionals that were in the actual roles that we needed to respond to the situations in the film. And they came on board in an extensive workshopping process where I said, here's the story, here's the script, here's how I'm envisioning it so far. Is this right? Is it accurate? And they say, no, this is wrong. This would happen like this, I'd say this. And then they'd start to kind of act it out for me. I knew I was going to cast them. They didn't know that, though. And so they served first as advisors, and Gabrielle connected us to. And we exhaustively rewrote the script for accuracy based upon the professionals, because accuracy is extraordinarily important, especially in a film like this, where the subject matter is so sensitive.
Does everyone know that the care lady in the film is an actual care lady who was helping with the research? And she was such a lovely woman. And Lance was able to say, well, is that okay? Would that happen? Could that happen? And that he got her in the film. She is not an actress, but is an actual care lady. How they got it past equity, I don't know.
So the situations are vetted through them, and then the language is also mostly provided, because it's very particular vernacular.
So I remember.
कभी आपने मीठा ग्लेशियर देखा है जहां टप टप रबड़ी टपकती है, केसर और पिस्ता के ओले गिरते हैं, क्रंची आमंड्स और चॉप्ड पिस्ताशियोज स्कीइंग करते हुए आपके पास आके.
Can we go over here? Yeah. Hi, I'm Fulvia Caprara from La Stampa. This is a national daily newspaper from Italy. The question is for Juliette Binoche, and from my point of view, you are a real heroine in this film, and so I think real and hero, heroine.
Hero?
Yes. Hero. And I wish to know two things from you. One, what was the most difficult part of this interpretation, of this work, of this role, the most difficult moment, the most difficult part, and in which way you decide now, in this moment of your career, in which way you decide to do or not to do a film. Thank you.
Well, when I read Lance's script and I spoke to him, I was genuinely feeling that was the right decision, because there's a search in him of looking for authenticity and something that is human, very human. So I was touched by that. And so we had, we had time actually through the rewriting of the script you were doing and trying to make it as personal as possible for him, but also for me. I felt that there was a connection. You wanted me to really feel like inside of this world, genuinely, there. And so finding the right actors to be on board, it was a journey, and I felt like we did it together somehow.
Yeah, Juliette was the first one on the project for a long
Yeah.
time. It fell apart numerous times, and Juliette is a woman of action and patience. And she scraped it off the ground several times and saved us, and wouldn't have been made without that.
Oh, well.
It was just the two of us in the wilderness for the longest time.
So when I saw the film, what struck me was the togetherness of Juliette, Annie, and myself, and then of course young Flo.
हुआ यह था कि वो अपने भाई
with her mother. Of course, that's terribly valuable in the shape of the film, to have all of a sudden a young woman starting on her life with men. Her mother's life is, complicated, obviously. And the old couple, of course, it can't end well. And so, with the young one, life goes on. And there she is at the end. She'll smile, having had her first initiation. I found that very beautiful.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this stunning film. My question is for Adolfo Veloso, and I would like to know if, beyond the impressive narrative and framing of the film, because we all know we are dealing with an important topic, and it's the way the films speak about it. I think the same as my colleague. I think it's the best film so far from the Berlinale. There are some metaphorical interpretation of the use of the stairs towards the film. We see a lot of stairs. The film begins like that, a couple from the subway, inside the house, outside, and the switch of colors. The first half is white. Everything is white. I was surprised there were no paintings, but suddenly we saw the other woman painting, and we see the paintings, and we start seeing blue, actually blue and green, what Juliette is using now. The whole film is, the second part, full of green and blue. And I love that. I don't know if it was just a decision or there are some kind of metaphorical interpretation, because I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, I'm really glad someone asked about the title, because I wanted to ask that for a while. But about the colors, I feel like Lance had it really clear in his mind that he wanted it to be, especially for the house, kind of a blank canvas, to have the actors kind of like being the main center of attention in all that, and I feel like it's just a background that allows that a lot. And there was something also about the way we shot it, that we wanted it to feel like in the beginning of the movie everybody's on their routine, on their daily life in a way, and that's kind of broken in a way. And that's why, like, for example, when we're shooting everything with the couple at the house, the camera doesn't move at all. It's a static camera. And then when we go to Flo's character, for example, it's a handheld camera moving the camera.
आधी रात second dinner करने वालों का choice, Monday lunch special बनाने वालों का choice, ये है foodies का choice, dogs है foodies का choice, यूं ही प्यार जताने वालों का choice.
And then with
अपने हाथों से खिलाने वालों का choice.
At some point they also get out of their comfort zone. They get out of the routine, and the camera reacts to that. So we were always just like reacting to their presence and what they're doing. And the stairs are kind of a bit of like, we shot on a real location, that's an actual house. And one of the amazing things about shooting in that house is it had all those challenges. Like we had those stairs, it was hard to bring gear in, it was hard to do everything, but it was also amazing to portray how hard it was to live on that house. And for that couple, and also on the decision of then bringing her to somewhere else to have a easier life. So the whole thing it's very much about being respectful to the story they're living and reacting to what the actors were doing.
Thank you. Also, I want to add something is that the approach that Lance and Adolfo worked in towards making the film, because it's really a moment of coming to the point where you're starting to shoot and it's there. And what was beautiful is to see that Lance organized the 2 weeks rehearsals with all the actors and the special people related to all the jobs they were doing, because there are so many of them. So it was a discovery, it was a workshop for us really, and discussing all the, the dialogue, and discussing what was happening. And then Lance decided to postpone the shooting for a week because he felt we were not ready yet, and so in order to do a week rehearsal in the house. And also you changed the house, I think, at the last minute or something. So every single step of this film was really a question. We were walking towards this need of making this film, but and daring to be in a very fragile position.